The sky above Earth cracked like glass. Without warning, the stars vanished behind a giant black ship. It blocked the sun. Birds went quiet. The wind stopped. The world held its breath. It started with a signal. One short beep. Then thousands. Every major military base on Earth got the same message. We come not for peace. We come for testing. Only the strong shall survive. General Royce, a man with steel-gray hair and battle-hardened eyes, stood frozen in the command center of the United World Defense, UWD. Screens lit up in red. Earth was under attack. Within minutes, strange ships rained down from orbit. They looked like metal insects, crawling with long limbs and spitting beams of plasma. Cities exploded. Armies failed. But then, one of Earth's enemies did something unexpected. A tall armored figure stepped from a crater in London. Jet black armor, smooth and silent, 7 feet tall. It moved with calm precision. Not like a mindless warrior, but like someone watching. Judging. The UWD called it Unit 13. It fought unlike the others. It didn't kill civilians. It protected some. Even helped evacuate hospitals. But still, it fought Earth soldiers without mercy. No one knew if it was friend or foe. Weeks, Unit 13 appeared in the middle of battles, only to vanish just as quickly. Some believed it was a rogue warrior. Others thought it was an alien spy testing humanity. One thing was certain, it never spoke, until one day. Its voice modulator, glitched, happened in the middle of a battle near the broken ruins of Berlin. UWD troops had set up defenses around a lab filled with scientists and wounded refugees. Then came the sound metal, boots striking broken concrete. Contact at Grid Delta 7. Shouted Private Miller. The black armored figure stepped out of the shadows, glowing eyes locked on them. Guns pointed. Fingers on triggers. Hold fire, whispered General Royce over the comms. I want to see what it does. The air turned. Cold. The wind died. Unit 13 raised a hand, but not to attack. A blast hit the lab's fuel tank. Boom. Fire spread fast. Screams echoed. Everyone braced for the armored warrior to strike, but instead, it ran into the flames. No hesitation. Inside. Through the smoke and fire, the figure lifted a trapped child, shielding them with its body. It moved like a ghost through chaos, dodging falling beams and shattered glass. When it exited, carrying the child in its arms, the fire danced against its black armor. And then, the voice came. But this time, something was wrong. You must be safe. The voice cracked. Not deep. Not mechanical. Feminine. Soft. Broken. Then the helmet sparked. The modulator buzzed. Click. The voice was no longer fake. I didn't mean for you to hear that. It was a girl's voice. Young. Beautiful. Full of emotion. The soldiers stood in shock. For a second, nobody moved. Unit 13 froze. Then, too fast to stop, she turned and leapt across the ruins, vanishing into the smoke once more. General Royce stared at the live feed. That's not a man. He leaned closer. That's not even one of them. Everyone in the control room stared at the screen in silence. She saved the child, Miller said quietly. She didn't have to. But why would an alien girl hide like that? Whispered a scientist. Why join their ranks? No one had an answer. From that moment, the world had a new question. Who is she? Asterisk, the world was no longer just fighting aliens. Now, everyone was hunting her. She had no name. No rank. Just a code name, Unit 13. But now they knew something more. She wasn't a man. And maybe she wasn't a full enemy either. General Royce stood at the massive holographic table in the UWD command bunker. A 3D scan of her armor hovered in the air. Zoom in on the helmet breach, he ordered. The AI zoomed in frame by frame. Her face was mostly hidden behind static and smoke, but 1 second of clear footage revealed something impossible. Human-looking. Skin, smooth golden. Not gray or slimy like the invaders, and then eyes, large, glowing softly violet. Not human, but beautiful. And sad. She's not one of the main attackers, whispered Dr. Vega, a xenobiologist. She doesn't match their species profiles at all. In fact, I think she's something else. A prisoner? Someone asked. Or a spy? Another added. But General Royce said nothing. He remembered her voice. Gentle. Real. He knew one thing, this wasn't just another enemy soldier. There was more. Far away, in the burned ruins of a train station. Unit 13 sat alone. Her helmet was off now. She kept it beside her, still sparking from the broken voice modulator. Her long silver-white hair hung loose, sticking to her neck, with sweat and soot. A deep scar ran down the side of her cheek, mostly hidden behind strands of hair. She stared at a small metal shard in her hand. A piece of the lab's roof. She had almost died saving that child. Why? She didn't know. Something inside her had screamed at her to act. It wasn't part of the mission. It wasn't part of her orders. She had no orders now. The aliens who invaded Earth had trained her since childhood. She was supposed to be one of their perfect warriors, silent, deadly, unquestioning. But she wasn't like them. She never had been. That's why they kept her voice locked. That's why they forced her to wear the voice modulator. Because the truth was dangerous. If anyone heard her real voice, they would know. She wasn't a male warrior. She wasn't just a soldier. She was a girl. A scared, confused, powerful girl, pretending to be something she wasn't. Back at the UWD base, young Private Miller couldn't stop thinking about her. He had been only 10 meters away when she spoke. He saw her eyes, heard her real voice, and what he saw wasn't evil. It was pain. She could have killed us all, he said quietly to General Royce, but she saved the kid instead. She risked her life. That wasn't strategy. That was choice. Royce nodded. She might be our key to understanding their forces. Or saving Earth, Miller said. Royce turned toward the communication team. Send out a message. All squads are ordered to capture Unit 13 alive. Do not shoot to kill. Repeat, do not kill. Meanwhile, she was on the move again. Every step she took sent soft echoes through the rubble. She couldn't hide forever. The other aliens, the true commanders, were watching her. One of them, a high-caste male named Vornek, had already sent a kill drone after her. She destroyed it. But she knew he wouldn't stop there. She was a traitor now. A danger to both sides. She had only one chance left: escape Earth, or make contact with the humans before both sides hunted her down. Her hand reached for the modulator. It was fried. Good. Let them hear her voice. Let the truth spread. She would no longer pretend. From now on, she would speak for herself. That night, Unit 13 climbed to the top of a broken building and sent a strange signal into the sky. A soft humming frequency meant only for one kind of receiver: human tech. At UWD headquarters, alarms blared. Unknown signal originating from Berlin ruins. The comms officer shouted. It's not alien code, said Dr. Vega. It's a mix, human structure, alien origin. Roy stepped forward. Put it on speaker. The room went quiet. Then a voice came through. Clear, calm, beautiful. Her voice. I am not your enemy. I was made to fight. But I choose not to. I know your language. I know your pain. Meet me. I want to talk. The room was frozen. She was asking for peace. Or a trap. Royce turned to Miller. You saw her up close. Would you go? Miller took a breath. Yes, sir. I'll go. Private Miller had never felt so nervous. He sat alone in a fast hover transport, flying low over the destroyed city of Berlin. Fires still burned in some buildings. Smoke rose like ghosts. The city had become a graveyard of machines and bones. He gripped his rifle, though he knew he wouldn't use it, not unless she gave him a reason. The mission was simple. Find Unit 13, the armored alien girl who saved the human child and revealed her true voice. But this wasn't a battle. It was a meeting, one that could change everything. She was already there. Unit 13 stood silently in the center of a wide, broken plaza. The ruins of an old statue surrounded her, just crumbled stone, legs left of what once stood proud. Her helmet was off. She didn't need to hide anymore. Her long white silver hair fell across her armored shoulders. Her glowing violet eyes scanned the skies. Then she heard the soft hum of the hovercraft. Her hand went to her side, not to draw a weapon, but to steady her breath. She didn't know if this human would shoot. Miller stepped out of the craft slowly, holding up both hands. No weapons. No tricks, he said. You asked for a meeting, so here I am. She watched him closely. You're not afraid of me, she said. Her voice was calm, warm, and full of emotion. It was the same voice he heard when she saved the child. Was before, Miller admitted. But now, I think you're just tired of being used, like the rest of us. Her lips curled into a soft, surprised smile. You're different. So are you, he said. They stood like that for a moment. No one moved. No sound but the wind. Then she spoke again. My real name is Soria. I was taken as a child, raised to wear this armor, trained to fight your kind. But you didn't. Fight us at the lab, Miller said. You saved that kid. Soraya nodded. Because I remembered who I was before all this. Before the training, I remembered I wasn't born to kill. Miller took a cautious step closer. Then why are you still wearing the armor? Because I have nowhere else to go, she said. Your people fear me. My people want me dead. I'm alone. Miller looked into her glowing eyes. You're not alone anymore. At UWD command, General Royce listened to every word through Miller's body cam. Dr. Vega stood beside him, stunned. She's telling the truth, Vega sighed. Her body language, tone, even her eyes, everything reads honest. She's not lying. Royce didn't speak for a moment. Then he gave the order. Prepare a secure drop site. If she's willing to defect, we bring her in safely. Back in the plaza, Miller reached into his belt and pulled out a small device, a UWD secure tracker. I can call in a pickup, he said. They'll bring you somewhere safe. You'll be protected. Soraya looked at the tracker, then at the sky, then back at him. You trust me that much? I trust what I saw in Berlin, he said. You could have walked away from that child, but you didn't. She took the tracker slowly. Her fingers brushed his warm, alive, real. Then I will go with you, she whispered. But just as she said, it boom. A missile slammed into the ground nearby, throwing Miller and Soraya off their feet. Smoke and dust filled the air. Miller coughed and grabbed his gun. Ambush! He shouted. Soraya was already moving, dragging him behind broken cover. Black. Drones buzzed through the sky, small, sharp, and deadly. Vornik sent them, she growled. He must have traced my signal. They're locking on. Miller yelled. Soraya stood tall. Her hands moved with speed and grace, activating a hidden defense system from her armor. Energy shields lit up. She turned to him. Run to the drop. Ship when I say I'll hold them. I'm not leaving you. You must. I'm the target. They want me. The drones closed in fast. Soraya's eyes narrowed. She raised both arms and unleashed a sonic pulse, a wave of sound so powerful it cracked the air. 3 drones exploded instantly. Miller dashed toward the hovering dropship through the chaos, but just before he reached it, he looked back. Saria stood like a goddess of war, blasting the sky with energy, her hair whipping in the wind, her armor glowing with raw alien power, and she was smiling. For the first time in years, she was fighting for her own freedom. They both made it onto the ship as the doors closed and the craft lifted into the air. Miller collapsed against the wall, panting. Saria sat beside him, breathing hard, armor scratched but alive. "You still trust me?" she asked softly. Miller looked at her at the soft light of her eyes, the tired smile on her lips. "Yes," he said. Asterisk. The medical lights inside the UWD base flickered softly. Saria sat on a steel table, silent and still. Her armor was damaged and burned, her helmet gone. Technicians worked around her, scanning and recording, but no one dared touch her directly. She watched them all with quiet eyes. She was used to people looking at her like she was dangerous. She had seen that same fear her whole life. But this time, it was different. They didn't see a monster. They saw a girl behind a glass wall. General Royce watched the scene with arms crossed. Dr. Vega stood beside him, holding a tablet. "She's more advanced than anything we've seen," Vega said. "The armor is alien tech, yes, but the body inside it is almost human." Royce raised an eyebrow. "Almost. Her biology is close. She's a hybrid. Human DNA mixed with something else likely from the same species that attacked Earth." "A weapon," Royce said flatly. Vega looked uneasy. "Maybe once, but not anymore." Royce tapped the glass once, staring at the strange girl on the table. She could have killed Miller. She didn't. She could have escaped. She didn't. Why? In the next room, Private Miller sat across from Saria. They had cleared the room for privacy. "You don't have to answer every question," Miller said softly. "Just tell me what you want to tell." Saria nodded. Her glowing eyes met his. "I was born in a lab. Not on Earth. Not on their world either. A third place, a hidden station in deep space." "Why?" Miller asked. "The High Caste wanted a new kind of soldier, not fully alien, not fully human. Something in between." She touched the edge of her cracked armor. "They made me wear this from the moment I could walk. They trained me in silence, pain, control. I was told that humans were animals, weak, broken. But you didn't believe them?" "I wanted to," she whispered. "I tried. But something inside me always asked, why?" She looked down. "Was punished for asking." Miller frowned. "They made you fight against your will?" She nodded slowly. "But in Berlin, when I saw the fire, the child trapped, something broke free inside me. I remembered something I had buried. A memory, a face, a smile." "Who?" Miller asked. "My mother," she said. "Human." Miller's eyes widened. "She held me once. Just once. Before they took me away, I was a baby. But that memory stayed." Outside, General Royce listened to the audio feed. "She has a human mother," he said slowly. "Then, maybe she's not a weapon. Maybe she's the victim." Dr. Vega nodded. "She's the bridge, General, between us and them." Royce turned to the comm officer. "Prepare a secure meeting. I want her to speak to the council." That night, Saria sat alone in a private room. It was small, quiet, and safe. She had never been alone in peace before. She removed the rest of her armor slowly. Underneath it, she wore a plain dark bodysuit, nothing fancy, nothing royal. Her skin was marked with fine scars from years of training and war. She stood in front of a mirror. This time, she didn't see a weapon. She saw a person. Her silver white hair shimmered in the soft light. Her violet eyes reflected emotion, sadness, strength. Hope. The next morning, the council gathered in the UWD war room, commanders, scientists, world leaders all watching a live feed. Saria stood in front of them, calm and quiet, but without fear. She spoke in a soft voice. I am not here to beg. I am not here to trick you. I am here because I want to help stop the war. One general leaned forward. Why now? Because I know their plans, she said. I know their codes, their leaders, their weapons. But more than that, I know their weakness, which is, they don't believe in mercy. They don't believe in love. They believe in fear. She looked directly into the camera. You beat them by being what they can never be. After the meeting, Miller found her outside, standing near the base's edge, watching the stars. They believe you, he said. For now, she replied. You gave them hope. That's more than most people have done since this war started. She smiled softly. I want to fight, but not like before. He tilted his head. How? As myself, she said, not as a shadow in armor. Not as a silent puppet, but as Saria. Miller looked at her. No voice modulator, no helmet, no lies. She nodded. Just you. But far away, deep in space, inside a cold and brutal warship, a different figure stood watching her on a stolen feed. Vornek, the high-caste alien commander, clenched his claws. She broke her silence. He hissed. Beside him, a dark figure replied, Shall we activate the protocol? Vornek's eyes burned. Yes, bring the others, the failed ones. If she won't return to us willingly, then we'll erase her. Asterisk. The alarm rang through the UWD base like a scream. Red lights flashed. Sirens howled. Soldiers scrambled into position. Something had entered Earth's atmosphere. Something fast. Something unidentified. General Royce rushed into the command room. Talk to me. He barked. 5 heat signatures, sir, said the radar officer. Coming in at high speed. They broke orbit 20 seconds ago. Enemy ships? Dr. Vega stared at the incoming data. Her face went pale. No, not ships, beings. Biological entries. And they're like her. Royce's eyes narrowed. Like Saria? Vega nodded. Genetically altered. Same energy readings, but different behavior. No signs of restraint. In her private room, Saria felt it before the alarms even went off. A vibration in her bones. A deep, aching pressure in her chest. They've awakened the others, she whispered. Miller burst in, panting. We've got incoming. I know, she said calmly. Are they like you? She turned to him, her eyes sad. They're like I could have been, if I hadn't remembered who I am. They landed in a field just outside the city ruins. 5 dark figures, armored, silent, and tall. Their suits were similar to Saria's, but darker, marked with sharp spikes and glowing red symbols. Each one was built for destruction. They didn't speak. They didn't wait. They attacked. UWD troops engaged, but they were outmatched. Plasma strikes, blade arms, and brute strength tore through human tanks and mechs, and at the center of it all was the tallest one, Unit 0, the first creation, the most powerful dot and the one Saria feared the most. Back at base, Saria stood. In the war room, her hands shook. They'll kill everything. Not because they hate humans, but because they were made without mercy. Royce looked at her. Can you stop them? She didn't answer right away. Then, only if I face them. Myself. Miller stepped forward. You won't go alone. Royce gave a sharp look. Private. No, sir, Miller said. She saved my life. She saved a child. She warned us. And now she's trying to save the planet. I'm not letting her fight. Alone. Royce stared at them both for a long second. Then he nodded once. Take whatever you need. You leave in 10 minutes. At sunset, Saria stood at the edge of the battlefield. Her armor had been repaired. New energy cells glowed beneath the surface. But this time, she wore it differently, less like a weapon, more like a warrior with purpose. Miller stood beside her in his tactical gear, his rifle slung across his back. He looked over at her. Ready? She took a deep breath. I've trained my whole life to kill. Now I'll fight to protect. She placed her helmet on, but didn't activate the voice. Modulator. No more lies. Just truth. The city ruins were burning. UW soldiers had fallen back. Unit 0 and the others stood tall among the flames, watching, waiting. Then came the sound of fast steps. Thud. Thud thud. A drop from the sky and a blast of blue energy. Miller landed beside her. Unit 0 turned. Its voice cracked through the air like metal scraping on glass. You are defective. Saria raised her head. No, she said. I'm awake. The others moved toward her, but she stepped forward, unafraid. You don't have to do this, she called out. You were made like me, but you can choose another path. One of the units paused. Just for a second, Saria saw it. A flicker of hesitation, but Unit 0 raised its arm and fired. The beam missed. Saria was already moving. She dashed forward with blinding speed, energy crackling around her fists. Her strike hit the side of Unit 0's helmet. Sparks flew. The others attacked. Miller opened fire to keep them back, but they kept coming. It was 5 against 2. But Saria didn't back down. She fought with power and heart. Every strike she gave was aimed not to kill, but to wake them up. Remember who you are. She shouted, dodging a plasma blade. You don't have to be monsters. Unit 4 stopped. Its blade arm trembled. Saria looked into its eyes behind the red glow. She saw something. Fear. Pain. Doubt. Then Unit 0 struck her from behind, slamming her into the ground. Miller yelled, rushing forward, but Unit 1 knocked him back. Saria coughed, blood on her lips. She looked up at Unit 0. You'll never break me. 0 raised its blade, but suddenly clang. Unit 4 blocked the strike. Everyone froze. Then Unit 4 turned its blade and slashed across 0's chest. The others stared. Saria rose slowly. You can still be free, she whispered. By the time the sun rose again, the battle was over. Unit 0 was gone, vanished after being wounded. Unit 4 removed its helmet. It was another girl like Saria, shaking, confused, free. The others dropped their weapons. And for the first time, they didn't follow orders. They followed hope. Back at base, Saria stood with Miller, looking out at the calm sky. They weren't just soldiers, she said. They were prisoners like me. Miller nodded. Now they're people. And Earth might have a chance. The war room at UWD headquarters had never been so quiet. On the main screen, Saria stood beside Unit 4, now fully de-armored, revealing another young alien girl, confused and nervous, but free. Behind them, the remaining 3 defectors stood silently. General Royce leaned forward. They surrendered? Private Miller nodded. They didn't want to fight anymore. After seeing Saria, they changed. Dr. Vega smiled slightly. That's not strategy. That's inspiration. But Royce's face was troubled. Vornik won't let this go. If his elite warriors are switching sides, he'll respond. And next time, he won't send just 5. Saria sat in the recovery room beside Unit 4, whose real name was Nara. The girl barely spoke. She just stared at the walls, her violet eyes filled with fear. I used to sit like that too, Saria whispered. Waiting for orders, wondering if I had a soul. Nara looked up slowly. Are we allowed to feel? Saria nodded. You're not a machine. You were just trained like one. Nara's eyes filled with tears. Her voice cracked. I don't want to go back. You won't, Soraya promised. Not as long as I live. Later that night, Miller found Soraya on the roof, gazing at the stars. Everyone's talking about you, he said. Some are scared. Some think you're the future. She didn't smile. Do you think I belong here? She asked softly. Miller. Step closer. You're not human. But you're not like them either, he paused. You're something new, something better. Soraya looked at him. Then why do I feel like I have to choose? Between what? My blood. And my heart. The next day, a message came from deep space. Intercepted. Decoded. Broadcast to every channel. It was Vornak. The screen showed his cold, reptilian face lit by red shadows. You who harbor the traitor Soraya, hear me. She is a stolen weapon. A crime against purity. Return her or face complete annihilation. This is not a warning. It is your only chance. The message ended with coordinates and area of space, where the alien fleet was gathering. The meaning was clear. War was coming. The UWD Council met in emergency session. Some members were furious. He gave us a choice. Give her back. End this. Before it gets worse, others argued. She saved lives. She turned his own elite against him. We can't betray her. Finally, all eyes turned to General Royce. He stood slowly. Soraya isn't a tool. She's not a hostage. She's a person. And Earth doesn't hand over people to bullies. Dr. Vega added, if we give her up, we prove everything Vornak believes, that mercy is weakness. They called Soraya into the chamber. She stood tall, wearing simple clothes, not armor, not a mask. Just herself. Royce looked at her. You heard the message. She nodded. You know what giving you up would mean? Another nod. Then tell us, what do you want? Everyone leaned forward. Soraya looked around the room. At the humans, at the soldiers. At the faces that once feared her. I won't run, she said. And I won't hide. But I also won't let Earth burn because of me. She stepped forward. I want to go to Vornak. On my terms. Not as a weapon, as a warning. Miller stood up. No, it's a trap. He'll kill you. She turned to him. I know. But I have something he doesn't. What? A heart that can't be programmed. Hours later, the plan was made. Soraya would be sent with a small team to deliver. A message to Vornak's fleet. A message of peace, but backed by strength. They loaded a diplomatic shuttle with defenses, cloaking fields, and emergency escape tech. As she boarded the ship, Miller grabbed her hand. Don't do anything stupid. She gave him a small smile. No promises. Their hands lingered. Then she let go and stepped aboard. In the dark of space, Vornak's flagship hovered like a beast waiting to strike. Soraya's shuttle exited warp and approached slowly. Aboard the alien bridge, Vornak narrowed his eyes. She came alone, he muttered. The ship pulled her vessel in with a tractor beam. Metal arms locked around the hull. Soraya stood up and adjusted her collar. This was it. No. Armor. No voice modulator. Just truth. The doors opened. Dozens of armored aliens stood ready. She walked between them without fear. Inside the grand hall, Vornak sat on his black throne. You dare come here? He snarled. I came to end this, Soraya replied calmly. You were built for one purpose. I've chosen a new one. He stood. Then you are broken. She raised her chin. No, I'm free. His claws tightened. You speak of mercy, love, weakness. I will burn those lies out of you. You can try, she said. And then a soft beep. Hidden in her sleeve, a device sent a signal across space. A message. Now. Back on Earth, the UWD fleet received it instantly. Roy stood at the front of the command bridge. Launch all squadrons. Engines roared. Earth was done waiting. Asterisk. The stars were on fire. Earth's defense fleet jumped into orbit just outside the alien armada. Hundreds of ships, massive and armed, faced off against Vornak's twisted war machines, but neither side fired. Not yet. Everyone waited. Inside the alien flagship, Soraya stood face to face with Vornak, the creature who had once claimed to own her. The grand hall vibrated with tension. "You brought them here to die," he growled. "I brought them here to witness the truth," Soraya said. "You are not truth," he spat. "You are a mistake." "No," she whispered. "I am your end." Suddenly, a hologram flickered into the air behind her. General Royce's face. "We're in position," he said. Vornak sneered. "If you fire first, you prove you are animals." Royce replied coolly, "We're not here to destroy. We're here to protect one of our own." Soraya stepped forward. "You see, Vornak, I was your greatest weapon. You designed me to be strong, fast, silent. But the one thing you couldn't remove," she touched her chest, "was my choice." In one smooth move, Soraya raised her arm and activated a signal pulse. Around the alien fleet, other hybrid units like Nira, like the defectors, received it. A soft chime in their minds, a memory, a voice, a reminder. You can choose. Some paused, some froze, and some slowly turned their ships away. Inside the throne room, Vornak roared, "You infect them with weakness. I give them freedom," Soraya said. He rushed at her, claws swinging, but she moved faster. They clashed in a storm of strikes and sparks. No armor, no weapons, just speed, strength, and will. He struck her across the face. She dropped. He raised a final blade to finish her. But suddenly, a rifle blast echoed. Vornak staggered back. Miller, standing at the doorway, armor scorched, rifle in hand. "I told you," he said. "She doesn't fight alone." Vornak roared again, lunging forward. Miller fired again, but Vornak swiped the weapon aside and knocked him into the wall. Soraya rose, eyes glowing bright. This time, she didn't hold back. A blast of pure energy surged from her hands. Vornak screamed as he was thrown across the chamber. She stood over him, breath heavy. "This is not vengeance," she said softly. "It's mercy." She turned and walked away. In orbit, seeing their leader fall, half of the alien ship surrendered. The others tried to flee, but Earth's fleet boxed them, and Royce gave the order, "Stand down if they retreat." No senseless death. The battle ended without a shot fired, because Soraya changed the war. Without becoming a monster. Back on Earth, weeks passed. Soraya stood beside Miller in a peaceful garden near the rebuilt Berlin sector. Flowers bloomed in soft sunlight. "Do you ever think about what you were made for?" she asked. He looked at her. "I think we all were made for something, but what matters is what we become." She smiled, the wind catching strands of her white-silver hair around them. The other freed hybrids, Nera, the defectors, even former enemies, helped to rebuild. No longer warriors, just people, learning to live. At the UWD Memorial, a new statue stood tall. It showed Syria, unmasked, reaching out her hand, not in war, but in peace. And below it, a simple message carved in stone. She was built to fight, but she chose to protect and change the galaxy forever.